Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about how to start your belly fat loss or how to continue in 6 simple steps. This is the method that I use with my coaching clients and with my patients in the hospital. So if you're struggling with belly fat loss, this is the one for you. If you're struggling to lose overall body fat, especially if you are a female in menopause or perimenopause, so that's age 35 and above, this one is going to be for you. This video will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, follow me. Some of you are watching and you don't even know that you're not subscribed to my channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me. Now, if you're like me, it's just so much easier for me to gain the belly fat compared to losing it. It's difficult. When we talk about belly fat, there are 2 different kinds I want you to be aware of. Some of it is just directly underneath your skin. That's the subcutaneous fat. Yes, we may not like to see it, but it's not dangerous to our health per se, unless you're really overweight, have too much body fat. That's when that subcutaneous fat can affect you medically, maybe affect your joints and things like that. However, it is the fat that we cannot pinch, the one on the inside around our vital organs. That one is the visceral fat. That's the one that we worry about. Anybody, everyone really needs to try to get their visceral fat under control. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It's the one that lies around your heart, your liver, your kidney. That's the one that really puts out inflammatory substances that can put you at risk of developing diabetes, having heart attacks, hypertension, and things like that. So that one definitely impacts our health. All right, if you've been on this journey, you've been trying to get healthy, you've been doing the crunches, sit-ups, all the ab and core exercises, and the belly fat is still here, it's not going away. It's just because we want to understand simple principles. We cannot tell our body to lose weight in a specific area. So if you're doing all the crunches, it's not going to help you lose the belly fat. It's going to help you tone the abdominal wall muscles. Those are 2 different things. We cannot exercise in order to lose weight in a specific body part. The key to losing visceral fat is working on your nutrition. It's working on what you're eating and what you're drinking. So let's talk about how to lose belly fat in 6 simple steps. Believe it or not, step number 1 has nothing to do with nutrition. It has everything to do with what's up here, our mindset. The way we think about ourselves, the way we think about the food, the way we think about the whole journey. So what's the very first thing that comes to mind? How do you get into what I call the weight loss mindset? Number 1 is setting a goal. Goal setting is key. I have an online program and some ladies just joined. They said, I want to join this program and see if it can help me lose some weight. Right there and then we don't have clarity. Clarity is the DNA of success. We've got to be specific. How much weight do you want to lose? When you give your mind a clear signal, clear instructions, then you have more clarity. You are more specific now. Give you another example. Let's say I want to travel. I go to the airport and walk up to the desk and say, I'm ready to travel. Right there and then it's so confusing for everyone. Where are you going? What airlines? What time? What's your destination? Give your mind the same crystal clear and specific instructions when it comes to your goal. So let's say, for example, I started off with my weight 14 years ago. I was at 300 plus pounds. My goal was to get under 200 pounds. That's okay. Set a goal, any goal. One goal. And I'm going to tell you, if you have a big goal like I did, I had to lose 150 pounds. Sometimes that goal just seems so big. We can get discouraged because it's so big. So chop it up into small bites that you can hit and achieve in order to get to a big goal at the end. It took me about 2 years to lose 70 pounds, that's okay. But you've just got to set a goal. So if your goal is too big, chop it up. If your goal is greater than 100 pounds, I'll say take 10% of it, or even 5%. Tell yourself, I need to lose 10 pounds first. If you lose 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, you are going to get to 100. Next thing, set a timeline. So it's got a specific goal. How much time are you giving yourself? This is one of the biggest reasons why some of us abandon our journey when we really have full capability of getting there. So the timeline is so important. Make your timeline realistic. The American Academy of Obesity Medicine recommends that you lose 0.5 to 1 pound a week. Yes, that's one of the biggest reasons why I failed. When I was 300 pounds, I told myself, I am so big, I should be able to lose 30 pounds in a month. I just felt I have so much to lose, so I can get rid of it so quickly. And that is where I did things that were too strict, were not sustainable long term. And when I didn't get to my goal, or if I got to my goal and I got tired of doing the things that are not sustainable, I gave up. Don't be in a hurry to lose all the weight right now. Focus on the next steps I'm going to tell you. Focus on the journey. Focus on being healthy. Focus on making your healthy foods delicious. Your body is going to fall in place. Don't focus on the number on the scale. All right, so the timeline here realistically is 0.5 to 1 pound a week. You will notice if you just started your journey and you were eating all the burgers and drinking all the Cokes, of course, when you start off, 7 pounds may come off the first week, 10 pounds may come off the first week. Yes, you're losing water weight, you're losing bowel content, you're losing some fat, some muscle, all kinds of things. It's okay. But when things settle down, sometimes you don't even lose any weight. I could be on my journey eating healthy, doing all the things I'm supposed to do, and nothing happens. Stick with it. We didn't get to this point overnight, so we're not going to lose it all overnight. And weight loss is not a linear drop. It's going to be down. Sometimes you plateau. Sometimes you even go up. And sometimes you continue to go down. It's okay. I want you to focus on the journey, how you feel, the things that you're doing correctly for your body. But set a timeline. So back to the 10 pounds. If I want to lose 10 pounds, realistically, and I'm talking about losing 10 pounds and keeping it off, okay? I'm not talking about just losing it. So I'm going to say realistically, I want to take about 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, to get those 10 pounds off and keep them off. All right, back to the mindset. What is the one thing that makes us just fall off the journey for no good reason? It's because we're so busy. We forget. I wake up in the morning, I'm running around doing my things. I've got my meal prep, I've got my job, I've got the kids, grandkids, I've got just so much. And sometimes I just even forget my goal. You have to remember your goal. And the easiest thing that I do to remember that goal is set a silent seminar for myself. This is what helps me to be successful in just so many things that I'm trying to achieve, to accomplish. And a silent seminar means that you just write down your goal, put it on your phone screensaver, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your computer, put it in so many places that you can remember. Your eye hits it, but you're not really thinking of it. It's going to write something in your mind that's going to remind you of your goal. However, we want to be intentional also. So when you wake up in the morning, think about your goal. Just take 5 minutes. Think about it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to make sure I take the healthy food with me. So I actually am reaching for my healthy food and not other things. However, you want to bring that goal to mind. You want to remind yourself every single day. Last thing here when it comes to mindset is having a positive mindset. If you're a female like me, I do such a good job about discouraging my own self. Listen, I wake up in the morning, look at myself, oh my, why is my belly this way? Why are my hips this way? Why are my arms this way? If you ask your brain or yourself a negative question, it's going to look for an equally negative answer and hand it to you. And here you are, so discouraged and not even feeling like doing the things that you need to do to be healthy. So it's so important that you stay positive. Don't discourage yourself. Tell yourself you can. Anything that you're struggling with, tell yourself you can. I struggle with water. That's my biggest one. My second biggest thing I struggle with is the vegetables. You will not imagine. So I wake up in the morning telling myself I'm going to drink the water. Actually, I go to bed with the water right there on my nightstand. When I wake up in the morning, I just start drinking it. I don't wait to feel. Last thing, mindset. Don't wait to be motivated. Motivation is not there all the time. Sometimes you feel like and sometimes you don't feel like. However, you want to be committed. Commitment means I'm going to do the correct things that I need to do regardless of how I feel. So just be committed. Don't wait for something to make you feel like working out, to make you feel like meal prepping, to make you feel like eating the healthy foods. Don't wait for that magical thing to come. That's motivation is not always going to be there. All right, let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is your nutrition. In order to lose the belly fat, the visceral fat, we need to pay attention to our nutrition. What is it about the nutrition? You know, for a long time I was eating healthy, but I was still at 300 pounds. Why is that? I was eating, and don't judge me, I was eating a half a chicken. I was eating maybe 3-4 chicken breasts. I was eating the salads, but however, the salads had too much dressing, I get it. And the salads had too many toppings that were not healthy. So what is it in nutrition that's key? You've heard this. Staying in a caloric deficit, eating less or consuming less energy than your body needs every day. So there are 2 ways to go about this. If you're really, really technical and you want to do all the math, you can go online and figure out how much energy your body needs per day and make your caloric deficit just 500, not more than 500, meaning you're going to drop your calories just slightly in order to lose 1 pound a week. If you're struggling or just starting off and you just don't even know, do what I did. It's so simple, and this is what I teach my coaching clients. Go online, Google, go to a BMI chart. I'm going to tell you, of course, the BMI charts are not accurate. But I'm not looking for accuracy. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for a starting point. So go to a BMI chart. Look at your height. Look at a normal weight range for you. Pick one. Take that number in pounds and multiply by 12. You're going to get a number, and that's how many calories I want you to consume per day. It's very easy. So we need to be in a caloric deficit in order to lose the weight. So now that we're talking about the things that we are eating, what is it that we need to be eating? That moves us into step number 3. There's several different foods that we need to eat. So back in my days, I had done all the restrictive diets. I had done the watermelon diet, the egg diet, I know you haven't heard about it, the cabbage soup diet, the military diet, all these diets and diets and diets. And what they did was they eliminated one food group, and it made it so hard for me. It was not sustainable. However, I'm not here to change what you're eating, but I'm going to introduce to you the fact that there are no bad foods. It's very important that you look at it that way. There are no bad foods. Of course, the ones that I'm talking about are natural foods. All natural foods are good for you. And then there's a small space where we need to have for the things that are maybe not as healthy, but we consume them anyway, and we need to be able to consume those with no guilt. Very important. All right, so let's talk about the food groups. We have proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and then I'm going to tell you about fruits, vegetables, dairy products, and then we've got room for the condiments and those small space for those little things. If you think about those food groups, just pick either 2 or 3 foods from each of these groups. It's going to make your meal prep so easy. It's going to make it easy for you to plan, and it's going to make it easy for you to figure out and track the fact that you're getting at that caloric goal. So the very first food group that we'll talk about right here, very important off the bat, is proteins. Proteins are important. Proteins are the ones that your body uses more energy to just digest. They have a thermic effect. Proteins keep you full. Last thing I need is to be trying to eat healthy and be hungry all the time. The hunger is discouraging. The hunger just puts me in a place where I am not happy. I like to be happy and I like my food to fill me up. So start with proteins. Proteins will also help you preserve your muscle, because the fact is, when we think about losing visceral fat or we think about weight loss, some of us don't know that we're losing some muscle in the process as well. And if you lose enough weight and lose enough muscle in the process, here you are, it's going to be very difficult for you to eventually continue to lose the weight, even if you're not at your goal, because you've lost enough muscle mass now. So the way to preserve that muscle is to consume enough protein. More so, listen to this, if you're a female above the age of 35, that metabolically active hormone that we have called estrogen is going to decline, is going to make us naturally lose our muscle mass. Even if we don't do anything else in our nutrition, I want you to increase the protein just to counteract the muscle mass loss that you have with weight loss or that you have with just the aging process. How much protein do we need to consume? There's so many stories about this, but let's just make it so simple. Remember, you went to a BMI chart. Your height, of course, you need to know your height. I didn't even know how tall I was when I started my journey, okay? It's only when I started bodybuilding that I was actually measured that I got to know my height. So you need to know your height in order to figure out your ideal body weight. Remember how I said ideal body weight may not be the weight that you really want to get to eventually, but it's the weight that you use for calculations. Your ideal body weight multiplied by 1, and that's how many grams of proteins you need to consume per day. Example, if my ideal body weight is 150 pounds on that BMI chart, I need to consume 150 grams of protein per day. Taking that example a little deeper, I already know that ground turkey, 99% lean ground turkey, if I consume 4 ounces of that, it has 28 grams of protein. Okay, so I'm going to consume 4 ounces now. I write down 28 grams of protein. My next meal, I'm going to add the proteins in that meal so that at the end of the day, I get to 150 grams of protein per day. If you're starting off, focus on this one macronutrient, proteins, and work on getting an adequate amount of protein every day until you actually get it. The way I simplify things even further for myself so that it is sustainable is to not try to eat too many different things at a time. I have this 3-day cycle. 3-day cycle. If I'm going to prep something, I'm going to prep exactly the same thing for 3 days, because it makes it easier for me to prep it, makes it easier for me to shop for it, makes it easier for me to track it, and it just makes it so much easier. That's how my journey is sustainable. And I have the habit of taking one macronutrient, my protein, season it, make it tasty, make it delicious. I'll season it, prep it, and package it for 3 days. That way I calculate and write things down one time. Stick with it for 3 days. After 3 days, come back and do the same thing. I'm going to prep something different, or the same ground turkey with different seasonings. That's how I stay that you consume your proteins. Next food group is carbohydrates. There's 2 different kinds, of course, the healthy ones. There's some of those that are a little bit more starchy and some of those that are less starchy. So think about your vegetables. vegetables. The way I look at it just so easily, so I'm not really trying to calculate too much, is I just take 1 cup of cooked vegetable per meal or 2 cups of raw vegetables per meal. You need the vegetables because that's where your fiber, your macronutrients, vitamins, and things like that, minerals, they all come from vegetables. So you want to consume those also. So very important you consume your vegetables. The next food group is the fats. Very easy for me, so I'm not calculating, do I need 50 grams of fats? Do I need 40 grams of fats, of healthy fats? Simply, if I'm cooking my food, my very, very simple basic formula is 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the food that I'm prepping for the whole day. I avoid nuts and nut butters because, of course, that's my weakness. May not be yours, but it's my weakness. So I'm not trying to consume some nuts every day because they're just so high in calories and they get away from me. However, those are healthy, so you can measure them in order to stay in the portion. All right, next food groups is fruits. So there's different kinds of fruits. Some of them are awfully sweet and some of them are not as sweet. All fruits are healthy for you. However, if you're going to consume the really sweet ones, mangoes, pineapples, the ones that are really sweet, that are so delicious, I want you to make every effort to stick with the portion size. The portion size. Don't wake up and just eat, a 1/4 of a watermelon because it's fruit and we know it's healthy. Just don't do that because you may consume more calories than you intend. Dairy products are the very next one. I try to limit my dairy products to the ones that give me the biggest bang for my buck. And I just limit it to the yogurt and the cottage cheese. Just because small servings of those, 1 serving has lower calories and a higher protein content. That's just me. Condiments, that's the next thing we need to think about. Condiments, you gotta be careful with those. Some of them have added sugars. It's the added sugars that damage our journey, that make things even more difficult, that make our insulin level high, and we are here storing more belly fat. Go for the condiments that have also one thing: garlic powder, pepper, powdered onion, or just go for the herbs. But make your food delicious, seasoning it with the herbs and the condiments. The other condiments that you really need to be careful with, my 2 biggest ones are the barbecue sauce and the ketchup. And I tell my patients, there is no tomato in the ketchup. It's just more of sugar. However, there are some manufactured products out there. I get it. I use some myself that say 0 sugar. However, you want to be careful with those that say 0 sugar because the manufacturer has a 20% margin of error. So don't go drink the take half a bottle of sugar-free ketchup and say it has no calories. The calories will add up. All right. The very last one I'm going to tell you about is the juicing. So fruit juice is great if you consume it maybe once or twice a month. Why is that? Don't go consuming juicing every single day, fruit juice. And I hear people say, I make my juice at home, so I feel it's healthy. Yes, it is healthier, of course it is, but consider this. You took all the fiber out, you took all the nutrients out, that's what you're throwing away, and you're consuming a concentrated amount of fructose. Keep in mind, only your liver can metabolize the fructose. So a concentrated amount of sugar in that juice is not good for you, especially if you're struggling with belly fat. What I recommend is that you eat whole fruit. Let's talk about this small window that we have out here that we need to have for the things. I tell my clients and my patients, don't try to be Jesus Christ. You cannot be 100% perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. If you shoot for perfection, that's where we start to have problems and where we fail. So, small percent, 20% of the times, this is where once a week you can consume whatever you want in a small amount, whatever you want. So if it's the fruit juice that you truly, truly love, have it once a week or once every other week. Let's say you have this taste for, I don't know what it is, a burger or pizza. Yes, you can have it once a week or once every other week. It's okay. So if it's a birthday party, you're not going to go for a birthday party, lock yourself up in the closet because you don't want to face the birthday cake and the wine. Go ahead and have it. It's one time. You got to have a date night, right? You can't hide over here and say, I'm not going to go for date night with my partner. Don't do those kinds of things. They're not healthy. Go out, have fun, one time, once a week, once every other week. You'll be just fine. Consume whatever you want in a small amount and just don't overstuff yourself, and it's not going to damage your journey. The problem we have is that we go out and eat whatever we want, ice cream or pancakes or whatever we want, donuts, and come back home and say, oh my gosh, if you were like me, I make one mistake, I say, oh wow, I made a big mistake. You know what? I'm going to restart at the beginning of next month, at the beginning of next week. No, consume whatever you want in a small amount, once every here or there. Okay, last thing about nutrition. Let's try to avoid consumption of processed foods on a daily basis. That right there is going to damage or slow down your belly fat loss. Why is that? Because the manufacturer took the food from its natural form. They removed all the good things that are there for you, things like the fiber and all those things, and they added too much sugar to make it more palatable and convenient. And that is what can get into your body and slow down your belly fat loss. All right, let's move on to step number 4, how to lose belly fat in 4 steps. Exercise. The workouts. If you know me, I love to work out. The 2 different kinds of exercises. Number 1 is cardiovascular exercise. Number 2 is resistance exercises. We need both. We make a mistake when we talk about cardiovascular exercises. So let me tell you just very simply, as a female in menopause, age 35 and above, perimenopause and menopause, or anyone trying to lose weight, you need both. Cardiovascular exercise just to help you increase the amount of calories burned, just to help you with blood flow, to help your cardiovascular health. You also need resistance exercises. And the way I look at it, if I go to the gym for 1 hour, what I'm going to do is get in there, do a warm-up, stretch, dynamic warm-up. I'm going to spend the first 45 minutes doing my resistance exercises first, and then the last 10-15 minutes, I will be on a step climber or walking on a treadmill or jogging and get my cardiovascular exercise in that way. Very important for you to do just a little bit more, especially if you're older like myself. Do just a little bit more of resistance exercises. Why is that? Because we're losing weight, we're losing some muscle. We're older now, so we're losing some muscle because of that. And when we lose weight, our metabolism will drop. So then we need the muscle in order to maintain our metabolism up so that we don't get stuck at a point where we're not really eating much, but we're not losing the weight anyway. Resistance exercises are things like your squats, your push-ups, lifting weights, using dumbbells, barbells, resistance bands, ankle weights, whatever you want, just to stimulate that muscle growth or to preserve them. So we need the resistance exercises. Many of you have seen me doing the 10,000 steps per day. I don't go out on the street and jog 10,000 steps. No. This is my NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. The amount of steps that I get in between my exercise, it just helps me to not be sedentary all day long. So don't look at the 10,000 steps as something that I need to accomplish in one big fell swoop. No. That's too stressful for the body. In fact, if you're in menopause and struggling with weight loss, and you go out there and try to jog 5 miles every day, 10 miles every day, listen, that puts your body in stress, and it's just going to make it so much harder for you to lose the weight anyway. What I'm talking about is I intentionally, if I'm going to get my nails done like today, I'm going to park over there. So that's going to give me another 200-300 steps. going into the salon and coming out. If I'm going to grocery store, which I will be today because I'm going to meal prep, what I'm going to do is do one circle around and then come back again and pick my things. So I just intentionally increase my steps throughout the day. That helps me with just being active. Sedentary is another disease now. If I'm sitting here watching TV or just doing some work on my laptop, what I intentionally do is get into my 10-minute workout. I've done my own 10-minute workout. I think more than everybody else. I go to the YouTube channel, hit play, and I'll just walk for 10 minutes. That gets me about 1,000 steps. Just because I know that I have maybe about 4 or 5 hours of work to do on my computer. So that's where that 10,000 steps comes in. So bottom line, cardiovascular exercise, resistance exercise, and being active throughout the day is very important. All right, step number 5. Number 5, this is another important one. Has nothing to do with what you're eating or drinking. Step number 5, if you've heard about sleep, you need to sleep adequately in order to lose weight, is true. Why is that? Because your hormones are going to be balanced while you're sleeping. Number 1 hormone is leptin. This is the hormone that tells you that you're full. So if you don't sleep enough, and I'm saying if you sleep less than 6 hours every single night, then that's going to decrease your leptin. Leptin is the hormone that tells your body or your brain that you're full, that you've eaten enough. So if you're not sleeping enough, leptin levels are low and you just tend to eat a little bit more. If you're not sleeping enough, your ghrelin levels, that's the one that tells you you're full. Ghrelin levels will be a little bit higher. It's going to increase that snacking habit that we have, and you just consume a few more calories throughout the day. Very important for you to sleep enough. In addition to that, if you're not sleeping enough, like myself, I tend to have this, don't judge me, okay? I tend to have this food-seeking behavior at nighttime. Everybody else is sleeping. Just because I'm awake, my head is in the refrigerator thinking, what's here? What's here? And believe you me, even if it's healthy, you don't need to consume it at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. It's too late to eat. It's too late to eat. You're more insulin resistant at that time. No need for calories at 11 p.m. Unless, I don't know, unless you're working all night long, which I do sometimes. All right, next thing, if you're not sleeping enough, your serotonin levels, your happy hormone level, that's the hormone that keeps us happy, the hormone that keeps us pleased, in a good state of mind, your serotonin is going to be lower. And so now you're seeking food just to comfort yourself. Studies do show that people who don't sleep enough tend to be more overweight. That's why some of us nighttime workers, I'm a shift worker myself, some of us just tend to eat more. We just seek the food for comfort because our serotonin levels can be low. Lastly, everybody, male or female, has testosterone. So if not sleeping enough, especially males, if you're not sleeping enough, your testosterone level is going to be lower. How does that impact your weight loss? Just because testosterone, women have just a little bit, men have more. When it's lower, you have a harder time of preserving muscle. All right, so very important for you to sleep enough. Next one, water, drink the water. Water, yes ma'am, yes sir. It's important for you to drink the water. Our bodies really are composed, body composition is mainly water. So if you're not drinking enough water, then you're a little bit more dehydrated, and dehydration will slow down your weight loss. All right, there's a myth about how much water we need to drink. Is it 1 gallon, 2 gallons, 3 gallons? Listen, I'm not pushing for the 1 gallon. It's so hard to drink a gallon of water every day. If you can do it, go ahead. All right, this one I'm going to say right off the bat. If you have a medical reason to not consume more water, example, those of you on kidney dialysis, those of you who have congestive heart failure and other illnesses like that, this is not for you. This is not for you. In fact, speak to your doctor and follow your doctor's orders. The rest of you who can drink enough water, now the goal here really is going to be 2.5 liters for women and 3.3 liters for men. So I would say 5 to 6 bottles. That's if you're staying home. If you're outside, working outside, I recommend half a liter per hour if you're outside. And if it is 100 degrees, like here in Louisiana, sometimes where I live, I need you to drink a whole liter of water per hour when you are out there. Dehydration is not good. It's going to slow down your weight loss. Okay, step number 6. Step number 6 is to repeat these 5 steps consistently and be patient. One of the biggest reasons why we just don't lose the belly fat, we seem to be going around in circles, is that we give up. We're not patient. We want things to happen right now. The world is quick, so we expect our bodies to snap quick into place. And then when we don't see results, we are discouraged. Some of you are looking only at the scale. Don't look only at the scale. Back in my days, I used to travel for work. I used to be a traveling physician. And the biggest problem that I had was the straps in the airplane. Some of them could not go over my thighs. And my biggest goal was to be able to sit in the airplane without really just bumping into somebody next to me, and to be able to snap that seatbelt over my thighs without asking for an extension all the time. And when I lost the weight and I realized, wow, I could, listen, take that as a plus. Your success is just not only the number on the scale. Your success is everything, mostly how you feel. When you start to eat healthy foods, you do feel better. How you look, sometimes the weight is not changing, but you look better. You like the way you look. Go for it. Sometimes your weight is not changing, but you notice that your pants fit a lot better now. So go for all these things and give yourself time. I was born on the heavier side. I never lost the weight. I never lost my baby weight. It just seems like I blossomed from there. I do not expect myself to lose weight in a year. From where I started, when I became realistic about my weight loss goal, I told myself it's going to take me 2 years to lose 70 pounds. And when I say 2 years to lose 70 pounds, it means 2 years to lose 70 pounds overall and keep it off. It took me about 3.5 years to lose 120 something pounds. It takes some time because weight loss is not linear. So give yourself time. Give yourself enough time to do all the things. Give yourself time to work on the mindset, to understand the things that you need to eat. And it takes a long time. After 14 years, I'm still working on my nutrition. I'm still working on learning new things. I'm still working on the foods that help me keep my protein consumption where it needs to be. Give yourself time to understand the food groups and how they affect you. For a long time, I just thought peanut butter was the healthiest thing. I used to eat don't judge me, I used to eat a bottle of peanut butter. Before I understood, hey, I was consuming, 3,000-4,000 calories in that peanut butter before I struggled to give it up. It took me some time to understand that it's no need going to shop the sales, because all that shopping was taking my money and taking away my health, because the abundance of food in my environment was just playing tricks on my mind and making me know that I have so much food. It took me so much time to even accept the fact that I needed to be lifting weights. I thought lifting weights was for men, not for women, until I understood I saw how my body just changed. It took me some time to even understand the importance of being patient. Give yourself some time, a lot of time, actually a lifetime. Everything that you're doing now, it needs to be what you can do for the rest of your life. So it needs to be sustainable, but it needs to be reasonable also. Don't get stuck in your ways and say, this is the way I do things, so I cannot change. In order to see a change in my body, I have got to change the things that I am doing. All right, my friends, that's it. Thank you for listening. I want you to type in the chat. I see lots of questions. Wait until the video is uploaded and then come back and please ask me questions. I've seen so many good questions. Ask me the questions. Tell me where you're watching from, and thank you so much for watching. I'm going to come back and bring you more information just on these steps. All right, my friends, Thank you, and have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you. Bye.